Hello everyone, I am SCP-Man11, and this is our guide to SCP-035, SCP-049, SCP-049-2, and 610. This may be a long video, so strap in and grab popcorn, I guess. I have no idea. Let's begin. So first we have your objectives as like all of those 4 SCPs. Pillage the facility, prevent escape, and escape the facility if you so desire. Let's start with SCP-035. Advantages and disadvantages. Your advantages are that you spawn with the Glock 17. You are the only SCP who can pick up weapons, grenades, medkits, and keycards. Has higher health than a regular human. Overpowered if the mask falls in the right hands and you can talk to players. That can also backfire. Disadvantages. Everyone's out to get you. Everyone anyways. Very easy to kill at the start of the round since they spawn with the Glock 17, or won't be easy. I can't think of any other disadvantages. Also, one thing I forgot to put in here is that talking to players may reveal that you're SCP-035 or SCP-049, which is not good. Your stats are you have a 450 health, you spawn with the Glock 17, and you spawn almost anywhere in heavy containment. Tips. At the start of the round, always look for a level 4 keycard or an SMG, or just don't pick up other secondaries, you already have one. Stick with your fellow SCPs. It'll be easier to wipe the facility out if you're all together and well. Go to SCP-914 at the start of the round. This way you'll get good weapons. Make sure you don't stay too long in SCP-914. You never know when someone else has an 05 keycard. Always check the corners. It's good to be paranoid as SCP-035, since everyone's out to get you. Try to protect your fellow SCPs. You're good at doing this. Always have a medkit or preferably SCP-500-D with you. This will benefit you a whole lot. Try not to escape. Only escape if you have low health and running out of ammo. If you want nobody to get the mask, frag grenading yourself in the SCP-939 tunnels. Just do that. I guess. I don't know. It's not recommended. Nobody ever comes down there anyways, other than at the start of the round. Try not to push through a wave of hostile factions unless you have your fellow SCPs, with the exception of you having the appropriate gear to do so. And now we're on to SCP-049. Advantages and disadvantages. Advantages are that you can cure players in one click, has high health, and you can talk to players, but this also may backfire. If Beta 7 comes along, aka Mass Hatters, you cannot do hell against them besides run and hide. Easy to kill if you know what you're doing. Sort of slow. Breathing might reveal your location. Let's move on to stats. You have 2,000 health. You spawn almost anywhere in heavy containment. And tips. If you gamble your cards right, you may have an army of zombies. Beware, this won't last too long. You are best at ambushing unexpected enemies, but not when those enemies are in a group. Always stick with your fellow SCPs for extra protection. You can also protect them as well. Have SCPs deal with Beta 7. You cannot do anything to them. Bait enemies into thinking you're running away, but actually you aren't. Only when almost all the SCPs are dead besides you, try ambushing other players. Just like SCP-096, cure behind doors. You'll take less damage than exposing yourself with the door open. Use zombies as meat shields. At extraction point, if you have the health to do so, carry a few more people so that you can have a few serpents, perhaps giving you backup. Then we move on to SCP-049-2. Advantages and disadvantages. You cannot die to Tesla gates. That's a big advantage. And you can run on like 049. Disadvantages are low health, very weak, breathing may alert enemies that you are nearby. Stats, you have 350 health. Spawn location, almost anywhere in heavy containment, in zombie outbreak, or being cured by SCP-049. Tips. Become a shield for SCP-096 if there's no doors around. Escape as soon as possible. Become a shield for SCP-049 while they're curing somebody. Don't be afraid to run through Tesla gates when pursuing enemies. You don't take any damage by the Tesla gate. Try attacking unarmed and clueless enemies. When being pursued When being pursued by armed enemies, try closing the doors behind you. Don't go for groups of enemies unless you have other SCPs with you that are more capable of taking on groups. Try to help fellow SCPs in any way you can. Breathing may alert enemies that are nearby. Try tricking enemies into following you when really you're just leading them to more capable SCPs that will probably rip them to shreds. If you know your enemies are low, try rush rush them or at least try to. They won't get points anyways. SCP-610, we're blazing through this. My goodness. Advantages and disadvantages. Your advantages are cannot dodge Tesla gates, and when touching players, they will be infected with SCP-610, and don't know what the third one is, but your disadvantages are that you are very loud. If players are infected with SCP-610, they can use SCP-500-D to cure themselves. You don't do that much damage, but yet you don't really need to. MTF, MTF7, no, Beta 7, I messed up on that. That was my bad. AKA mass adders cannot be infected, but you can damage them. It's not MTF7, it's Beta 7. And I thought my grammar was good. And your stats are that you have 700 health. You spawn almost anywhere in heavy containment or being turned into SCP-610 by being infected. Did I mention you can't die by Tesla gates? Here's some tips. Goodness. Try to go for unarmed enemies at the start of the round. This will be easier for you to grow your army. If an enemy just used SCP-500-D, infect them again since I don't think that they'd have two SCP-500-Ds lying around, and being the annoyance SCP-610 already is. When facing armed enemies, try closing doors behind you and wait for them to open it. Always camp SCP-914 at the start of the round, but just don't do it for too long. Try to be with SCPs who are more capable of doing higher damages, so you can infect enemies more quickly. Don't infect AFK players unless they're the last one alive. Just like SCP-049-2, protect your fellow SCPs like being a shield for them and such. Only rush enemies if you have the numbers to, or if you have the health to. Don't escape unless you have 45 HP or lower. If there are only a few of you remaining, try not to escape, but rather keep infecting the less than Beta 7, then become serpents. Try camping spawn waves, but you only need 2 SCP-610s to do so. Don't let factions farm you and your brothers without a fight. Don't give up without a fight. That's not good. And I have extra tips, since I ran out of space for so many of my tips. So, this is revolving around all the SCPs that I mentioned in this video, so let's go. And not SCP-500-D, that'll get its own video. Extra tips. When SCP-035 dies and there's an enemy nearby and you're an SCP, stand back letting them know they can take it. You may need an SCP-035 later, so it's always a good idea. When having a 610 instance with you and you're an SCP, or Serpent's Hand, let them get the first hits then you can get the second. This way you'll have another SCP-610 instance on your team. This won't work with SCP-049 though, and can work with Serpent's Hand, as mentioned. When SCP-049-2 has just been cured and is getting up, protect them or close a door so enemies can't shoot them. If you're SCP-035 and you want to be an annoyance, and escape at the start of the round, though this isn't recommended. As SCP-035 and have taken control of 914, and you want to upgrade your gear, I recommend having a loadout similar to this. AA-12 Colt Python Level 5 Keycard, SCP-500-D, Incendiary Grenade, or whatever works for you. When somebody is holding a key card and is in a room that can only be opened by a key card, don't go for it. Just let SCP-106 or SCP-035 deal with them. This goes for all SCPs, by the way. Factions that are hostile to you or neutral. You really don't have anything neutral to you. You are hostile to Class D, Facility Personnel, Security Detail, Mobile Task Forces, and the Chaos Insurgency. You are friendly to yourself, of course, and Serpent's Hand. You are definitely hostile to the UNGOC. They want to terminate all anomalies. You're hostile to the FBI and the KGB, or GRU. And that's all, folks. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry if this was a long video. I haven't checked yet, but yeah. SCP-500-D will get its own video. Let me know what SCPs you want me to cover next. This was going to be 3 SCPs, but then I'd have to account for SCP-049-2, so I just put them in here. Yeah. Well, that's all for me. I'm SCP-Man11. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment. So, and yeah, farewell.